Hello, hello. Welcome back. Are we ready? Pastor Grace, share me. Are we ready? Okay, now. Karibu sana. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. I am so excited. I am so excited because now we're going to look at the hindrances to qualitative thinking. Hindrances to qualitative thinking. And it's amazing how a lot of people in the world out there, they actually pay a lot of attention to their thought patterns. Their books have been written about it. And we are supposed to be the guys who are in the picture, in the flow. And we don't seem to get it. So I am very excited about this. Let's get everybody who needs to be here. Let's get them on board because we're going to unleash a lot of serious stuff for you this session. We're going to unleash some serious stuff as we look at the hindrances to qualitative thinking. All right? Hindrances to qualitative thinking. That's what we're looking at. And I mean, this year we're not joking. It's not as if we were joking before, but man, it's going to be serious. Amen. So we're looking at our hindrances to qualitative thinking. All right. Fantastic. Yes, Yomi, it's next level. This is next level. Carol, Karibu on YouTube. Welcome to next level. Next level. This is next level operations for next level results. I'm so excited at what is about to happen in your life because you are entering into the next level. All right? We're entering into the next level. And well, just to reiterate what we looked at in the morning, we said, the Bible talks of, God's great plan for our abundant life and all that. So, great plan. God, so many fantastic things being written. And we're not, okay, how come all this is written and we are not experiencing it? The other's coming. And we're not experiencing it. And we identified that the first place we need to look at is our thinking. As a man thinketh, so is he. And I think one of the key things I want you to remember from the earlier session is that, and I give my example. So I am there giving counsel to people. People are excited about what I'm talking about. It's working for them. But hey, I have to begin to look again and say, what is these guys? This is working for them. What's going on in my life? All right? Because everybody was saying, oh, he's so brilliant, but I was not seeing the effect of the brilliance. People that I would mentor and counsel will become millionaires and billionaires. And I was struggling. And there are a few things, like I said, more frustrating than that, where someone is taking your advice to prosper and you, the owner of the advice, you are struggling. And that's where we get to a point where we have to realize that the fact that you know something is not what will determine your prosperity. It's got to be more than that, because we know it. I have friends who lecture business administration in university. Their students have gone on to become moguls. And when I talk to them, one of the things they tell me, some of these my friends, they know the theory, but they don't have the capacity to face the reality of the world out there. Isn't that something? They don't have the capacity. So they know it, but they can't handle the rejection. Because one of the things you got to understand is that in business, oftentimes, before you get accepted, you are first rejected and criticized. So if you can't handle rejection at that level, you will never get to the place where you are accepted. So guys don't know how to handle that. All right? So if you have the right knowledge with the wrong thinking, I said it won't profit you. But if someone has 20% of the knowledge you have, but have the right thinking, the right mindset, they will explode. Oh, wow, Tim, I've never heard that statement, but that's so profound. I mean, I even have someone very close to me like that, and he is so brilliant. I asked him, I said, what's the deal on this? And he says, Wale, I cannot he says, I know I am in a bubble, but I'm okay. I cannot step out. That you do something, somebody rejects it. They can't handle those things. So, like I said, I always use myself, because that one, I know myself. I found myself in a place in life where I had the knowledge, but it was not working for me. And I had to accept that uncomfortable truth. I had to accept it, that I had a thinking problem. I had a mindset problem. And that's why I said earlier on, I discovered I had been conditioned by my past. I'd been conditioned by my past. Nobody in my family had ever stepped out to do the kind of things I was dreaming of doing. So I had no reference point. And so we established that until we improve the quality of our dreams, we will not improve the quality of our lives. You know that where we are, whether we like it or not, is the expression of how we've been thinking. That is a very sobering thought. I hope you know that. It's a very sobering thought, because It was sobering for me in the sense that I had all the networks. I knew so much, but nothing was happening in my life. Nothing. And if we're not careful, this is the place where regret can set in later on. Because you now look back and say, yay, what I could have done. That's why you start from where you are. All right? So you're starting from, we are starting, that is fantastic. It's the first of a year, first of a month, first of a week. It doesn't get better than that. It doesn't get better than that. So are you ready? So what are the hindrances to qualitative thinking? What are the hindrances to qualitative thinking? Because as a man thinketh, so is he. And before I even go in, let me tell you something that I've also noticed. If somebody has the wrong thinking, even if you throw them in the midst of a breakthrough, they will not know what to do with it. They will not know. That's what happens to lottery winners. Money comes into their hands. Loads of money comes into their hands, but their mindset is not at par with their reality. So they cannot sustain that reality. Your mind must be ahead of your life. Somebody hearing me, your mind must be ahead. If your mind is at par with your life, that's called average. And then there are others, their mind is behind everything that's happening around them. They're trying to catch up with life. Oh, but so even if you are praying, oh God, give me breakthrough, give me breakthrough, give me breakthrough, and God pours $1 billion on you right now, a lot of people will know what to do. They will not know what to do. They will just fall back to default settings. And that's why I keep saying, that money is not the solution to a financial problem. The solution to a financial problem is a mindset shift. It's a mindset shift. Because you give money to somebody whose mind has not shifted, they won't know what to do with it. Oh, is somebody hearing me? They will know. And that is why a lot of economic programs, economic empowerment programs have not worked, because they focus only on the economics. It sounds like a contradiction, but it's the reality. They focus on the economics, but not on the mindset. So listen, if the economics is right and the mindset is wrong, the economics cannot be sustained, because it's going to take a particular kind of mindset to sustain the economics. And that's the problem we are going to have in Kenya with the Hustler Fund. Because you will have money, but you will not have the mindset. And that is where at the Street University, we cracked it with the growth mindset. So somebody could take 1,000 shillings and grow it into 104,000 in 30 days. 30 days. I hope you are hearing me today. Money is not the problem you have. It's a mindset. It's a mindset. Sharon, I always talk about the story. Sharon Tirabasi was a single mother who was on welfare. She won the lottery and immediately did what people who win the lottery do. She goes on a spending spree, buys things for her family. Kindness is not an insulation for stupidity. You can be stupid and kind. She bought things for all her family. Cars, houses, blah, 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 blah. Okay? She ended up broke and she wishes she never won the lottery. Why? Because your life will rise or fall, not based on the opportunities you have, but based on your mentality. Michael Carroll was born in 1983 in Norfolk. English winner. You can Google these things I'm saying. English winner of the UK National Lottery. Before winning the lottery, he was a waste collector. He won £9.7 million at the age of 19. Became a celeb. What did he do? Spent the money, bought houses, cars for family. You know? Now, somebody who has a stupid mindset is empowering others with stupid mindset like him. I'm not saying don't be generous to family. I'm just giving you facts here. Gave his aunt and a sister £1 million each. Remember, kindness is not insulation for stupidity. Guess what? He was forced to go back to his old job of garbage collection and eventually ended up working as a factory hand in a biscuit factory. Real stories you can Google. David Lee Edwards won $27 million jackpot. And there are some of you listening and say, if I can just get $1 million, my children's children will never suffer. It's a lie. It's a lie. Just $1 million, all my problems will be over. Now lie. $27 million went on a spending spree. You know, bought a jet, bought a Lamborghini. Let me tell you, this one is the saddest of them all. When he died, he was living in a storage unit. Storage unit. Listen, he was cremated against his wishes because no one was available to pay for his burial. Nobody. So is that where all the people he bought house, cars for and everything? Are you hearing me today? So I want you to wake up. It's a new year. You got to wake up. Can you imagine this? So, what are the hindrances to qualitative thinking? Number one is identity. Let me tell you something I learned. You know what they say? A pecking order. Pecking order. The order of respect and all of that. There is a pecking order that goes on in our minds that constantly tells us our level. Are you hearing? There is how it constantly tells you your level. And anytime you try to go beyond that level, that mental police in your mind will blow a whistle. Pop, pop, pop. You have crossed the line. You are out of your league. How many of you have ever experienced what I'm talking about? You try to aim for more. Then, boom, the whistle is blown. Because there is a mental policeman that wants to contain you to that pecking order. That, dude, you're out of your league. You get back there. You want to buy Mercedes? You are mad. Get back to your bicycle. You want to live in a big house. A big house in Mutaiga or by the ocean. You are mad. Is that where your mates are? And then he will now show you, that police in your mind will show you people that are more intelligent than you, that are scraping through life. Are you crazy? Come on, get back to your... You want to get into business. You have big dreams. That voice, that mental police comes again. What is all this? Are you mad? Have you seen anybody in your family do this kind of thing? What's wrong with you? You get back to where you are. I can't tell you the number of times I heard that voice in my life. You're out of your league. And it happens at different levels. As a kid growing up, I had a very bad inferiority complex. Do you know where it came from? Some of my classmates are here. Taiwo is sitting in front of me, but my other classmates are here. Yomi is here. I think Jennifer is here. We were in the same class at international school. We're in the same class. Now, during the holidays, Yomi, what happened? All of you, where did you go? You all went to England. You all went to England for holidays. Taiwo, all of you who go to England. I was sent to my grandmother in the village. What are you talking? And not because my parents couldn't afford it. I mean, gosh, they sent me to international school. Our school was probably the most expensive school in Nigeria those days. But they just didn't believe in it. So everybody, so you guys are traveling, everybody's talking about to meet. In fact, because I have heard all your stories so well, I could even contribute to some of those stories. Contribute to some of those stories. That was the time when, you know, eventually I got to hear about a club in London called Gulliver's. Did you know that one, Muzungu? Dr. Awori is in front of me. You know, so that complex, my identity was finished. That, how will I come back to school? All these people have traveled abroad. I am coming from my grandmother, where the only thing I have to boast about is the ogi and akara we have had in the morning. And the akara was big like this. What is akara in English? What is ogi in English? Tai was explaining. Ogi is like uji, local uji with the guy. That's what I was talking about. These guys are coming and talking about they went to KFC, they went to I said, team, I'm about to get there. Just watch. My identity was destroyed, my self-confidence destroyed. So you see the entry point for the mental police. You know, then let me tell you what will happen. I will now tell lies about my summer holidays. That Dad, I'd grown up in Scotland. You know, my parents were schooling in England, and then they were in Scotland for a while. So I would talk about exotic places that my dad took me when I was small. You know, in Kilcotton Bay and I talk about all this. Na lie. Are you hearing this story? So I will name all these places, but that was another problem. All these people that went to England, they came back with clothes. We used to call it spoots. Today they call it drip. We came back with people. They came back with spoots. They had those were the days of pedal pusher. George first. Those were the days of what is this? Where there's dungarees. Wrangler jeans, FUs. FUs jeans. My wife is telling Dr. Awori here that she's married to a villager. Can you imagine? And Dr. Awori says he agrees. Okay, so listen. So this was the problem. They will all come back with clothes, and at ISI those days at international school, guys will come, maybe the first week, guys are wearing all sorts of things. Then when we had, latest shoes, latest Wale. Edna is our generation, remembers the pedal pushers. So, listen. So, even though I'm telling the story that, I traveled, I didn't have the spoots to back it up. So, you know, when identity is gone, lying is inevitable. One lie to the other. So, next thing, I now came up with another lie. Because you see, we had a family tailor, Uncle Tunde the tailor, who disliked me with a passion. So everything he made for me was either too big or too small. So I realized, even if I tell the lie that I've traveled, I don't have the spoots to back it up. So I say, I give a sad story about how all my luggage got lost. Are you hearing? So when you see people today who are constantly exaggerating things, talking about things that you didn't ask them for story, they are telling you about what they have. There is an identity problem somewhere. There is an identity problem somewhere. Are you hearing me? I had zero self-worth. Zero. And it showed up in other places. There was this chick, this girl, when we were in school, I will not mention her name because my classmates are here. I had a crush on her. But the minute my mind began to go in that direction, mental police. Come on, that's out of your league. What do you mean? Out of your league. So, he just couldn't. Are you hearing me? And you know, you are laughing, you guys, but a lot of people are in that position. No? A lot of people are in that position. I remember when we went home for my daddy's funeral, we have this this distant relative of my father. Nobody asked him story. Nobody asked him story. We just met him. Hey, uncle, how are you? He said, that I came in my Jeep, you know, that the light of my Mercedes was not working. So I came with my Jeep, and nobody asked story. Nobody. Nobody asked him for story. He just started telling us. Yeah, Taiwo was with me. We just said, how are you? Then story. I came with my Jeep. Oh. The Mercedes, the light was faulty, so I couldn't come with the Mercedes. But I came say, Mumu. Who ask him question now? Mumu. That's what they call Godoyo. Eh? Godoyo means Mumu, a fool, on a very high level of being fool. Can you imagine? Tim, I'm not going to even pay attention to this, your comments. They are in the flesh. The Taiwo's mental police warned her about this Wale guy. Thankfully, she gave the benefit of doubt. Are you hearing? So, this girl, mental police showed up. Say, my friend, what are you doing looking in that direction? No. I had one very useless friend those days. So all my friends knew that I liked this girl. So my friends are asking me, hey, Wale, what's the deal? I said, no problem. You know? So one of our friends, if I mention him now, Boss Taiwo, Yomi, Jennifer, they will know him. He will now come. And his favorite song, he would be telling me, Wale, what's going on? Then he would play, his favorite song those days was Shalama, Make That Move. Make that move right now, baby. And I'm thinking, what's wrong with this? What's wrong with this? What's wrong with this? Advanced Godoyo now. Anyway, do you know he made the move and she said yes to him? Mental police. But God had a plan. When I got saved, one of the most beautiful things that happened to me was now give me a sense of identity in Christ. So my identity was no more coming from you go to England, you wear something. My identity was now coming from where I am in Christ. So one day, Yomi, I don't know, there was a party we had in London some time ago at this Nigerian restaurant. Anyway, I was there at that reunion party, and she was there. So guess what she said to me? Listen up. Said, Wale, you know, you are very, very foolish. I said, why? She said, I heard you had a crush on me when we were in school and that you are going to come. I said, yeah. She said, do you know I was waiting? You know you are my crush throughout school. Are you hearing me? He said, my and Dr. Awori is here speaking nonsense, but I got crushed. You know? Listen. So, by the time the Queen Taiwo came into the picture, the boy was ready. Mental police call. I will assassinate the mental police at this point. I will assassinate. What mental police? I will shoot him. So I knew, this one, Grace got it for me. This one. So when the mental police began to shout that you've forgotten she's one of those London summer girls. It's not in your league, man. It's out of your league. I told mental police, shut up. You know, because my identity came from somewhere else. But then she began to cooperate with mental police when she said she's not going to say yes to me. So I went through that whole thing. She didn't know what was going on. when she started cooperating with mental police, I nearly gave up. And at that point, I told her, I said, forget it. By this time, I was now making my own money. On that, I said, forget it. I'm going to England. Just forget it if you don't believe it is. So I was going to see, I was in Ibadan at her place. I was going to see the bishop or our bishop in Ibadan before going to Lagos. And I was going to fly out, I think, the following night or so. So she told me, when I told her, forget it, I'm out of here. It was a very crushing moment for me because it's like mental police was right. You know, and that this girl's out of my league. So let me just continue to mess around with all the omalatas that are around. Okay, I'm gonna say, who's the omalata? Just Rice Tuture. Yeah, you'll get it. I'm sure you understood that. Okay. So here I was. This girl, I said no. So let's go back to the village. At least the village girls, I was a star there. When I went to international school and I spoke good English. So I went, I was the star, So, and guess what? She said, okay, on your way back, you can stop and see me. So, on the way back, before going to the airport, I now stopped to see her. She had written a note. Listen to the note. It was almost like cooperating with mental police. She wrote a note. Okay, on this day, I agree to marry you, but I will look to God to look after me. In essence, you are finished. You can't. But because there was no room for pride in this opportunity, that this girl had said she's going to marry me. So I was excited. Of course, I canceled my London trip. And the rest is history. Last September, 30 years. This year, we're going to be 31 years married. Is somebody hearing me today? All right. Nick says, Omalata Mumu. Today there is vocabulary. Tim says, wait for peperempe. You guys are. So, identity, friends. If your identity is coming from things, you have wrong thinking. Are you hearing me? If your identity is coming from things, what you are wearing, all those things, if that is where your identity comes from, there is a fundamental flaw in your thought process. All right? Because it means if those things are not there, you can't function. And that's what happened to me. My identity was coming from things that were, mundane. So today, I mean, gosh, even my dressing is so simple. This is what I wear. A Nigerian outfit. It is simple. It is probably cheaper than what everybody else around is wearing. But you know what? I make it look good. So now people ask me. They want me to give them or help them source for outfits like this. Can you see the change? So identity. Let your identity come from who God has made you. It will help your thinking. You're no more in a rat race for who is wearing the best, driving the best, and all that. You're not in a rat race anymore. You are free, delivered. Are you hearing me? And God has a way of humbling you sometimes. There was this time years ago. This was in Nigeria. I would, sit at the back of a Mercedes being driven around. And there was this day I had to go on the back of an Okada. Boda. So I'm thinking, hey, a motorbike. I'm thinking, how is this? At those days, my identity still came from things like that. So I had my briefcase, and I put my briefcase between me and the person riding, and I put my head like this, so nobody will see me. So I was going to see my parents. I got there, and the following day, one of these young people that used to hang out with my parents came in, and he said, Brother Wale, yesterday we saw you at the back of the bike. You didn't want us to see you. You were doing like this. My friend, that was the end of my pride. After that, I was finished. After that, if I'm at the place, if you don't see me, I can even shout and wave at you. Because my identity was no more coming from all those things. So when I see people who are still hung up about things like that, it's an identity problem and it will get you in trouble. Then the next thing, we're talking of hindrances to qualitative thinking. Exposure. And let me tell you one thing about me. I always challenge what people call conventional wisdom. Let me give you an example. Every motivational speaker, everybody would tell you, and it sounds wise, that, insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Now, the same people who tell you that will also tell you that, Thomas Edison did an experiment for 10,000 times before getting the answer. So which is it? The only way to become a genius is to do it over and over and over. Now, another conventional thing that people say, curiosity kills the cat. I am not a cat, number one. Curiosity fuels innovation and advancement. If you are not curious, you cannot advance. Because there are places you will not go. Yesterday, it was fun driving with liberated minds. That we get to a place, I said, let's turn this way. You don't know what is there. But we turn there. Say, okay, there is no road here. Let's turn in here. We turned in there. And boom, greatness opens before us. Many people lack the spirit of adventure. And so their exposure is limited. They don't know what is possible because they are not curious enough. I'm a very curious person. So even if curiosity kills the cat, you are not a cat. I'm very curious. I want to find out. I need answers. And I've shared this story about this gentleman that came to our house. Very wealthy man on every Forbes list. And he told us he was leaving the following day. After dinner, we're having coffee, drinks. And Taiwo asked him, what time is your flight tomorrow? And he smiled. He said, I don't know. But when I'm ready, my PA will alert my pilots to get the plane ready. So we go and say, hey, we are sorry. I say, we are sorry. But the big revelation for me is that if you don't know what is possible, you will settle for what is available. And you will not know what is possible without a sense of adventure. You won't. I didn't know it was possible to own a private jet without paying for it. That's why I missed an opportunity to own one. Even when the opportunity was presented to me, I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't know what to do with the opportunity. And you see, a lot of people, because you don't have a sense of adventure, you are not exposed enough. You are not exposed enough. So, when the opportunity comes your way, you will know what to do with it. Oh, is somebody hearing me today? Now, later on, when another opportunity came my way to own property, my mindset was different. I knew exactly what to do with the opportunity. Many people don't know what to do with opportunities. And that's why you need to be curious, a sense of adventure. That's why I read a lot. I like to travel. I like to ask questions so that my mind can be expanded and exposed. Is someone hearing me? It's so important. Otherwise, you will not know what to do. When I read some books and I say, wow, you mean this is possible? I look at the business columns, the business news globally. I see what is possible. Oh, is somebody hearing me today? So if you are not fueling, if you're not curious enough or adventurous enough, your exposure will be very limited. And if your exposure is limited, there are certain opportunities you will not be able to take. That's why I hang out with people who, listen, I have a mentor, and I was with him some time ago, a couple of years back. And this guy, listen, when I was still struggling with a property, this guy told me he was developing one property, he had one development every year since 1974. I asked him, I said, do you know the number of properties you have? He said, why should I? He said, I develop and I hire people to keep track of the numbers. That's where we're going, you know. We're going to have to hire people to keep track of our numbers. Can you imagine that? That it is possible to be developing properties and you don't know the number that you have. Since 1974. One day we're in his house, and the properties within a 1 mile radius, I think he's sold a bit of them now, properties within a 1 mile radius of his house was in the range of 2 billion shillings, about $20 million. Exposure. I sat down and I realized, wow, so this is possible. And let me tell you what I have learned. When you keep hearing such stories, faith comes. Faith comes. If the only people you are hanging around with are complaining about the economy and how bad things are every time you are with them, you are hanging out with the wrong people. Oh. Because there are people in that same economy that don't know what you are talking about. And if you are hearing about it, hear about it so you can do something about it, like my honorable member of the county assembly here. So you can do something about it. I am doing something about it with Street University, that I'll take 100,000 young people out of unemployment and poverty this year. Is somebody hearing me today? So you need to hear the right stories. There are platforms. Nobody has an excuse today. There are too many platforms. You go on YouTube and watch The Men Who Built America. Have you watched that? You will be inspired that this man, Rockefeller, he owns the entire oil industry in the world. It's not that he owned an oil company. He owned the oil industry. Carnegie owned the steel industry. Was it Vanderbilt also owned the rail industry? Individual. They wanted to they broke Rockefeller's company. I read this to you the other day. But let me read it again for the sake of those who are not there. They broke down Rockefeller's company. It was called Standard Oil. Now, let me show you 558. Let me show you Standard Oil. They broke it down that this guy is too powerful. Let's break down his company. No man should be allowed to own such a monopoly. When they broke it down, his company, it now became, guess what? Exxon, Mobil, Amoco, and British Petroleum. And he had a stake in all of them. His wealth was 2% of American GDP. And he was a Christian like you and I. In this book. See, I'm not telling you, yes, I'm talking facts. I've read it. He will go to church with envelopes. Sit at the back, say, God, who should I bless today? Are you hearing? He doesn't have two heads, and his blood is not green. It's like, so when you hear stories like that one man owns the entire oil industry, then you realize that your thinking needs to be scaled. Are you hearing me today? Your thinking needs to be scaled, and that's what I'm going to focus on, this year. Because Ephesians 3:20 says he's able to do exceeding abundantly above what you can ask or think. Above what you can ask or think. So, if you can think it, he will exceed it. Oh, did you hear that today? If you can think it, he will exceed it. Stop benchmarking mediocrity. Stop benchmarking stupidity. Stop opening your mind to people who have failed and want to amass a crowd. Failures want to be magnetic, to attract more people. You know why? When they have many people saying this thing is not working, they feel justified. They feel justified. I'm not going to listen to nonsense. I don't dignify nonsense. I don't. All right? So, on Tuesday night, I'm going to continue with this, and what we're going to focus on Tuesday night, another hindrance to qualitative thinking, is past experiences. I'm going to talk about that on Tuesday night. So you don't want to miss that. But did you get it today? Yes. Identity doesn't come from things. It comes from God, from who God has made me. And then I must be exposed. I must have the curiosity to ask the right questions to find out. Oh, let me end by showing you something. Let me end by showing you something. This is, you're going to love this. You are going to love this. I promise you. You're going to love this. Well, this is, Mark, your name is in the Bible. Very good. Now, listen to this. Luke chapter 2. This is when the boy Jesus got missing at the Passover. Now, verse 46. So they went back to look for him. So it was after 3 days. Listen now. They found him in the temple. Now listen. This is Jesus. Sitting in the midst of the teachers, both listening to them and asking questions. He was not teaching. He sat, he listened, he asked questions. And anybody who will do that, who will sit, who will listen, who will ask questions, what are they doing? That curiosity is expanding their reach. So that's why listening is one of the greatest gifts to your prosperity. And a lot of people have problems with that. When you are talking, you are not adding to your knowledge. When you are listening, you are adding to your knowledge. So if Jesus was listening, he was sitting, he's listening, and he's asking questions, what excuse do you have? Get curious. There was a song like that years ago. I'm curious. Okay, it takes a certain level, generation, to know that song. And the people in that generation, they got it. So get curious. Okay? All right, guys. That's it for today. I'll see you all on Tuesday. As always, I want to thank all our partners for their support and for partnership every single day. It's phenomenal. And I pray that God who sees in secret, he knows what to do, and he will surely do that. I'll see you all on Tuesday. Enjoy yourself. If you're around, come for lunch. Oh, come for lunch. How many of you are coming for lunch today? Just come. Just come. Jennifer, how now? It's my classmates, Jennifer and Yomi. They're here. We're in the same class from 1978. So, guys, you can come for lunch. It's a buffet. So you're very, very welcome. I see you. And whatever you do, keep winning. All right? You're welcome. Bye.